What's up, people? Punch here. So SCP-5K released an update today, August 20th, 2025, and it's the Discover program. The Discover program essentially is you as a D-Class personnel going through multiple different scenarios of different test chambers and seeing how far you can survive before you either kick the bucket by a bunch of monsters or, keep completing it until something happens. Not really sure, because the most I could get to was level 4, and then I got swarmed by a bunch of stuff because I had no more ammo left, and all I had really was a tire iron. They have classic survival, which I thought they were going to remove, but they kept that, and they still have test chamber. So I'll show a little bit of the classic survival that they didn't really change much. They still have the normal workbench that you unlock later. They still have the garage doors that you could open as well. And before you start any of these games, whether it be classic survival or test chamber, you could choose a different suit. Here's an intro.
You have arrived at the testing terminal waiting room. The first test will begin in 10 minutes. Take a moment to review the training video and gather testing equipment before we begin. During tests, you will be accompanied by Arlie-12, your official test buddy. Good luck.
Welcome, D-Class personnel. You are now a vital asset to science. This presentation will explain the various procedures, equipment, and concepts you will need to be familiar with. Test Terminal. Meet your new home. The terminal is the nexus between test chambers and offers you an opportunity to meet your fellow test subjects, consume food, receive first aid, stock up on standard testing equipment, answer questionnaires, accept additional testing criterion.
So after all that's said and done, you go watch the video to kind of understand what's going on. Then you have the first test chamber, and this is Arlie, the monkey I guess you'd be talking to. However, there's a couple of times the test proctor that is talking to you calls you a monkey and says if you want a banana for being good, and then does the ooh-ah-ah deal. You'll actually hear it later on inside the video. But going on to the patch notes, the additions were SCP-914, which is an anomaly that can be used to upgrade weapons and testing chambers in exchange for credits, which if you kind of remember, I think it was SCP Laboratory or the multiplayer one, they had a kind of automated machine that you would put stuff inside of it, and it had rough, fine, coarse, or something else, and then it would take that item and make it better. They have something similar to that on here, but it's mainly for weapons and other things that you have. Like if you put a pistol in there, sometimes you get a rock. The other things were a pen as a melee weapon, a rubber duck throwable, a rock throwable, a Beppis throwable, and a baby SCP-3199 throwable, which I don't know what that exactly does, because when I throw it in one of the games, it just hits the ground, smears, and that's about all it does. So I'm assuming if I hit somebody with it, then maybe it'll do something. They have another SCP in this, which I will talk about in depth because of how obnoxious they are. They're called the D-Crash Dummies, and they are obnoxious as shit. Basically, what you have to do with these guys is that you have to remove their limbs. Shoot their head, shoot their legs, shoot their arms. If you shoot them in the torso, nothing will really happen. What they'll do is they'll run at you. Sometimes there's different ones. You have blue, you have red, and you have silver. Silver ones are guys that just run at you in melee. Blue actually have pistol. Red have rifle and shotgun. And I don't know of the other ones that there are. I've only got to like level 4, and I've been mainly fighting the zombies, or Zeds rather, if you want to call them that. And they have the red tentacle creatures from Ghosts of Southgate, if you remember that they would shoot the little red thing at you and it would kind of crawl or spike up. They also do that in this one, but it's a lot closer quarters rather than running around in like a snowy area that is basically being enveloped with a giant fog from a blizzard. Like I said earlier, when it comes down to classic survival, it's still there. You could actually change the different type of character if you want a different skin from light, medium, heavy, or even like an officer. They have the other things inside the area that you would see in the test chamber, like the box that has ammo, another box that has a med kit. But when it comes down to the test chamber itself, they have other ones that cost credits. and I think it's just ammo and medkits additionally if you don't have anything else. And if you really need to, they have free ones that are around. You just have to go and look for them. Sometimes they'll be on like the bottom of a level. Other times they'll be on the second story of a mansion that you'll actually be playing. I think it's the third level. The fourth level that you have to deal with, the fourth test chamber, is actually a bunch of stairs, while in the center it's got like these vents that pump up with gas. You also have these challenges that you can complete, which actually give you the credits you need on the top right side of the screen in order to do the machine to upgrade from very fine or not, being able to unlock those boxes that have like ammo or med kits on there. So if you survive the level, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get credits for it. It's essentially doing the challenges to allow you to get the credits you need to unlock more stuff or even get better weapons. And that can be from, I think the first level was get a certain amount of headshots. The other one was dismember the mannequin things that run at you. And then the third one, which was avoid damage. While the fourth test essentially is from you to kill all the Zeds before the time runs out, which is 60 seconds. Otherwise than that, the poison will come up and you'll probably suffocate and die that way. So that test chamber is how I basically died, from either being mauled by a bunch of zombies or being suffocated to death by poison. And it'll show you in the green type of cloud right before it comes up to the final level, which is the very top, maybe like third floor, and then you get screwed after that. As you've seen earlier, they actually have the different weapon racks to where they have the bolt-action rifle or a pump shotgun that's 5 rounds, as well as the Stryborg and the MP9. The only 2 pistols you get are the snub-nose revolver, and you also have the 1911. You don't really have anything else, while every single gun that you carry looks like a caution tape, which is yellow and black. So I basically stuck with the MP9 mainly for the auto fire and the single fire if I need to take out zombies or deal with something more difficult that takes more bullets to put down. I don't know if you can unlock more weapons later, but they did specifically say in the patch notes that various melee weapons can be obtained in the testing chamber, which is melee weapons, not other weapons that you need for shooting. One thing before we talk more about the patch notes, and that's the mannequins that run at you. The one thing that you can tell that they're going to be like more or a lot of them is when they start laughing. Those obnoxious laughs remind me of the Quasimorph game, to where when you die, you get laughed at by all the Quasimorphs. That's a lot more annoying than you can realize, because when they do it, it is constant and it never stops. At least in Quasimorph, it stops. Another thing is that they get lasers on their guns, so if you see them with a laser, whether it be the pistol, shotgun, or assault rifle, they're more accurate when they have a gun. If they're coming at you with melee, they're more aggressive, and they'll just keep running and running and running until you stop them eventually and put them on the ground. Continuing down the patch notes, they say added a variant of ammo/med containers that cost credits. Added a separate personal scoring system for the testing chamber. Players can earn personal scores by getting kills using SCP-914, spending credits on supplies, completing chambers, and shooting targets, which actually, besides the enemies that you have to fight, like the Zeds, they have like paint or paper targets that you can shoot. I think that also gives you credits, though I'm not really 100% sure, because I never really was too busy trying to shoot at those targets, like the deer or another SCP, or like the D-class personnel, because I was being mauled by all the other stuff running at me and trying to kick my ass. Then they talk a little bit about Arlie, which is essentially that monkey thing that talks to you earlier using the voiceover, and other test proctors who guide players through the testing chamber experience with more than 20 minutes of new and unique dialogue. Added a TV to the testing chamber, which you've seen earlier, that tells you how to play the stuff or kind of understand what you're doing. They also have between the levels when you're done, like if you have to go and upgrade your stuff or rearm whatever ammo that you need, they actually have 2 screens that you can go, one to accept the quest that you're trying to do, whether it be, headshots or dismembering the mannequins. But they have another screen right next to that which they ask you random questions and you can answer with yes or no. Kind of a funny thing for a D-class, right before he's about to kick the bucket. But like I said, this is the 4th level with all the poison coming up. Basically, you got nothing to worry about if you could beat them before that actual timer drops. This is the M590, the new gun that they put in, and that's all I got right now for this update. If there's anything else that pops up, or if I get beyond level 4, I'll let people know. But this has been the SCP-5K update for Discover program, and I've been One Nut Punch. Thanks for watching as per usual, and I'll see you in the next one.